Hello and welcome back for round number 2 here, Paradise Games Monday Night Modern. We got Bart versus Sam here, a little bit of Devoted Druid versus Red-Black Mid-Range here from Bart. This one looks like a kind of a spicy brew here from Bart. Looks like we're trying to value out our opponent and also kill them in the meantime with cards like Croxa, Lightning Skelemental, a bunch of Unearths, and some other effective 3-drops in the mix here. But I think he's going to get put to the test here right away. Make sure he's got enough removal in the deck here to be able to deal with the Druid deck out of Sam. So I think, yeah, everybody's on the same page here. No way that thing's making it through Bart's first turn here, as he's going to go ahead and fire some form of removal spell at it, and Fatal Push is said removal spell. We'll see how Sam wants to follow things up. He's drawn a Once Upon a Time for the turn, and I believe that we're going to see Devoted Druid here from Sam. Getting a nice third color of mana here. Leads me to believe that Sam potentially has copies of Teferi Time Raveler in his deck at current, or, you know, at least in the sideboard. Here is the Devoted Druid. Right, gonna need another piece of removal here. Will Bart? Oh, he doesn't have it. Okay. This means that Sam's gonna have to discard a card here. He discards the redundant copy of Vizier of Remedies, and now we're just looking for a way to win the game. And we have infinite green mana now, and nope, Finale of Devastation will do the trick. Nice quick game 1 here, as Sam takes down Bart with a nice quick turn 3 kill here, keeping it nice and easy. Let's take a look at the sideboards here for the players. Bart has 2 copies of Extirpate, 1 Angrath's Rampage, 3 Plague Engineers, 2 Shenanigans, an Ashiok Dream Render, 3 copies of Fulminator Mage, and 3 copies of Leyline of the Void. So, oh boy. This sideboard does not look great here. The 2 copies of Extirpate are totally fine in the matchup, especially because I'm assuming Bart's got some hand attack in his main deck, so hopefully he'll be able to, you know, get a nice Thoughtseize Extirpate on card like Devoted Druid and really shut down Sam's plan like that. Plague Engineer's quite good if you name human. Vizier of Remedies will never be able to stay alive on the battlefield, so that actually prevents the combo. That's relatively decent. The Angrath's Rampage, having Sam sacrifice a creature, can be good in some boards, but also can be kind of a brick if they have cards like Noble Hierarch in play. And then the Ashiok Dream Render seems good as well. Preventing your opponent from searching is pretty relevant. So Sam on the other side, he's going to have 1 copy of Burnt and Forged Tender, 1 Teferi Time Raveler, 1 Thrun, the Last Troll, a Phyrexian Revoker, a Collector Oof, 3 copies of Core Firewalker, 3 copies of Path to Exile, and 4 copies of Veil of Summer. So the 4 Path to Exile seem like slam dunks to me. Other than that, I think that's it. Hang on, 4 Veils, that's it, run it back. I think get a little bit of extra protection for the assumed increase in, you know, removal, hate pieces, etc. that your opponent's likely bringing, and you know, just kind of hope to run back game 1 more or less. And obviously your opponent's going to be a little bit more aware of what's going on. They're not going to keep hands that don't have removal spells in them, etc. But hopefully, you know, you're not getting your Druid, you know, Thoughtseize Surgical on turn 1 or something absurd like that, which, you know, is definitely a possibility in these post-board games. But I don't think that this is the type of matchup where we can really afford to be boarding in, you know, some sort of mediocre plan B. I mean, our opponent showed us Croxa that game, and if I were Sam, I would probably just assume that my opponent was just playing Jund, and Jund is not a deck where you can just like put in a Thrun and hope that it's going to be good enough or anything like that. You know, you got to play around Liliana of the Last Ho, or Liliana of the Veil, and cards like that. So I think that I'm pretty much all in on, we just need to kill our opponent with the combo. Not going to worry about any of this other nonsense that could be going on here. Like, if I'm not combo killing my opponent, I'm not going to win the game. So just going to protect the combo as best I can. Alrighty. Looks like Bart already done with his quick sideboarding here. And Players getting ready for game number 2. Shaping up to be a relatively quick match here. Burnt and Forged Tender on screen. Oh, the Burnt and Forged Tender certainly is good as well. My bad for forgetting about that one. Protection from red, save your creature from a lightning bolt, etc. So. Alrighty. So we're going to see Bart on the play this game. Going to be looking for a slightly more reactionary hand than that last one here. Hopefully 2 pieces of interaction at minimum in the form of hand attack and or removal spells here. Otherwise, we're probably just going to have to mulligan and hope that we can find a better 6. Sam, on the other hand, just looking for combo pieces pretty much. If we end up with a little bit of protection, that's great. But mostly we need combo pieces. Bart has to ship his back. Sam keeps his 7-card hand, so looks like it must be a good one. He's got a Teferi, Time Raveler, Vizier of Remedies. Interesting that Teferi Time Raveler's still in the deck. I don't think that actually is all that good in this matchup, but, you know. It does at least shut off some, surprise removal spells or anything of the sort from Bart. Alrighty, here's another 7-card hand for Bart. This one looks a little bit better. You see an Inquisition of Kozilek here at the front of the hand. I think there's a Fatal Push as well behind it. I'm going to go ahead and tuck 1 card, and we're going to start things off with said Inquisition of Kozilek, I do believe. Alrighty, let's take a look at the grip here from Sam. No copy of Devoted Druid, but we've got 3 lands, Vizier of Remedies, Teferi Time Raveler, Eladamri's Call, and Noble Hierarch. So we could take a combo piece here if we wanted to in the form of Vizier of Remedies. We could obviously take the Noble Hierarch to slow our opponent down quite a bit. That's totally reasonable as well, though we do have that Fatal Push hanging out there that could easily take out a Noble Hierarch. We could also take the Teferi if we think that that's going to be a card that matters later, but I think I agree with this decision from Bart. Go ahead and get the card that can find the Devoted Druid, get it out of here, make sure that your opponent's not going to have access to that. Another copy of Noble Hierarch, certainly not quite what Sam was looking for here, so now we're just kind of threatening a nice turn 2 Teferi here, which certainly has the possibility just to be very good. See how Bart decides to play this turn. It will be Fatal Push on your Noble Hierarch. He drew a Kroxa for turn, elected against playing that. Ooh, a nice Giver of Runes here. I expect that we'll see Noble Hierarch plus Giver of Runes this turn here from Sam. As a matter of fact, we do see just that. He'll have to take a point of damage from his own Horizon Canopy, but of course, he's probably not all that concerned with his life total. If we were to see like a Lightning Skelemental next turn, that would be absolutely ridiculous on this board, I think, from Bart. But unfortunately, I don't believe Bart has it. Colligan's Command, the draw here for Bart. That's a pretty good one. Oh, but I think he's actually missing the 3rd land. Uh-oh. I guess I'll calm down with that's a good one then. It does look really good if we had a 3rd land. We'd get to kill the Giver of Runes and have Sam discard a card, but unfortunately, no 3rd land means that it's not going to be particularly effective. Dreadhorde Arcanist the play. Now for Sam means that I think it's right about time that Teferi Time Ravelers show up here and get that Dreadhorde Arcanist back into Bart's hand. Of course, the Dreadhorde Arcanist has some trouble flashing back instants and sorceries with that Teferi on the battlefield, but still, I think Sam's going to be in the market for drawing a card. Obviously, Bart missing the land drop here, so just put it back in your opponent's hand. You don't want to risk him untapping and killing your Teferi in somehow or anything like that, so pretty big fan of just Teferi unsummon and attack for, I suppose, 1 with Noble Hierarch. That seems like a pretty reasonable line here. Oh, I guess we actually drew another copy of Giver of Runes, so we can even play that. That seems much better. Looks like Sam is going to be deploying that Teferi Time Raveler, so no more interaction for Bart. And sure enough, Dreadhorde Arcanist will be returning to Bart's hand. Sam will find another card, another copy of Giver of Runes here. And then I assume that we'll see Sam ship the turn back here, not willing to get in for 2. That's would have been a little bit overeager, if you ask me. All right, Bart did manage to find the land here. So now we have pretty much all of our spells online here. We'll see what Bart decides to do with his newly found mana. Looks like he's just going to go ahead and spend the 2 mana and Kroxa on this turn. So Sam will discard a Vizier of Remedies. He actually likes to keep the other card in his hand, though I'm not certain I saw what it was. Or if I did, I'm forgetting. A little surprising to see the Vizier of Remedies hit the bin here as opposed to... Oh, it's another Giver of Runes. Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that. I think that Vizier of Remedies is better than the 3rd copy of Giver of Runes here by quite a bit. At least the Vizier of Remedies is, half of your combo or whatever. And it's also a 2-power creature that we're happy to attack with this Noble Hierarch. And, 3 or whatever things. But it looks like we're just going to be losing both of our cards here as we get our Kroxa unearthed here from Bart. So just lots of hand attack here. It's going to leave Sam with naught but his board here. No cards in hand, though. He's got quite the board, and unfortunately for Bart, he doesn't actually need cards in hand when he can just draw Devoted Druid like an absolute champion here. We'll see Noble Hierarch attack for 1, I do believe. Well, it looks like we're going to hold up the Noble Hierarch here to get an end-step sacrifice on the Horizon Canopy. This makes sense to me as well. We're looking for a Vizier of Remedies and or a way to find one. Here's Dreadhorde Arcanist from Bart. Going to Lightning Bolt Teferi Time Raveler. Of course, that's the only target that Giver of Runes cannot protect, so looks like that one's just going to have to be let go here. Sam going to crack his Horizon Canopy here. We'll see him draw a Windswept Heath. Ooh, and another land. All right, so definitely bricks here for Sam. Unfortunate for him. We'll have to see how he decides to progress. Who won the first match? The first match we had on stream tonight was between Patrick and Pete, and Pete did take it down. He managed to Grixis Death Shadow all over Patrick's combo deck real hard, and it was not particularly close. It was pretty rough. Now we got a little bit more interesting of a game here going on. The first game of this match, not super interactive in any way. We just saw Bart kind of die on turn 3. But now, we've got this Druid in play, and, Bart's certainly at risk, though Sam at this point doesn't have any way to actually prevent, excuse me. I'm really losing my train of thought here. So at this point, we see that Bart is just kind of going at Sam here. The Inquisition of Kozilek looks at Sam's hand. It is a land. Unfortunately for Sam, he doesn't have the requisite power to put in front to actually kill the Dreadhorde Arcanist. So he's just going to have to allow Bart to continue getting the extra value Walking Ballista is the draw here for Sam. He fully understands he will get choked out by Homer if he loses. I think he's got to be aware. All right, so this looks like 4, 5, 6 mana here from Sam. He's going to play an X's 3 Walking Ballista. Sam has the option to just trade that off for the Dreadhorde Arcanist right now, though I don't think I particularly love that idea, so I think I just prefer to see Sam passed the turn. Interesting choice to put a -1/-1 counter on the Devoted Druid, as opposed to just cracking that fetch land in play here for Sam. Don't love that, as Bart's going to go ahead and attack here with the Dreadhorde Arcanist. It's going to flash back a Lightning Bolt. I'd be surprised if Sam didn't make the obvious block here. As a matter of fact, he does. So go ahead and put the Walking Ballista in front of that Dreadhorde Arcanist. Here is Kolaghan's Command. I'm curious what the modes here are. This is destroy an artifact, you discard a card. Unfortunately, this is not going to get around Giver of Rune's protection ability. So now we'll see Giver of Runes give protection from a red here. Kolaghan's Command will fizzle, well, mostly fizzle, as the card gets discarded, and then unfortunately Dreadhorde Arcanist will hit the bin here. And now we're seeing Sam. He's got a 3/3 Walking Ballista in play, plus a Noble Hierarch. Bart at 16 means that we got a nice 4-turn attack kill lined up here, plus we can actually start paying some mana to actually add counters onto the Walking Ballista, maybe end up getting Bart dead in 3. I'm curious how many copies of Teferi Sam has in his main deck. I assume that, we only saw one blue card in the sideboard, and it was one copy of Teferi Time Raveler. I highly doubt that you would add blue mana to your deck for a singleton Teferi Time Raveler in your sideboard. So I assume that there are multiple copies in the main deck as well. I'm interested to see if there are any other blue cards. Alrighty, didn't get a good look at the card there. Off the top for Sam, but like I said, we've still got pretty reasonable attacks here at an absolute minimum. And we can always just pay a nice 4 mana to add a counter to Walking Ballista. There's nothing wrong with that, so. I think that's just another land there for Sam. Oh no, is that a Ranger Captain of Eos? That's quite a good one if that was the draw. I think regardless, yeah, looks like Sam just decides counter onto Walking Ballista. He'll put it up to 4. This will be an attack for 5 once he sends it in, plus the Exalted. So here's 5 points of damage coming across the finish line here for Bart. He'll go down to 11. Means that next turn we'll be able to put another counter onto Walking Ballista and then attack for 6 and then remove all 5 counters to kill Bart. So looking pretty rough here for Bart, as here's a Kroxa that'll discard Ranger Captain of Eos from Sam's hand. Unfortunately, no damage associated with that, as it isn't a land. And yeah, I think Bart is just dead here. He's just gonna die to the Walking Ballista burnout plan. And yeah, we saw Sam do the math here. Ends up being definitely lethal here. So Noble Hierarch actually is an additional point. Might as well go ahead and cast it. Who knows? Could need the extra point. Alright, so here's an attack 4/6. Put Bart down to 5, put a 5th counter on the Walking Ballista, and yeah, that is not going to do it. Means that we'll see Sam take down Bart in a pretty nice 2-game set there. We got the nice turn 3 kill in game number 1, and I talked a little bit about how, like, the the like plan Bs probably were never really gonna get there, but I guess that plan B got there pretty well. So yeah, maybe I ate my own words a little bit there, but you know, walking ballista's a hell of a drug. So well played, Sam.